Atlanta.
True.
If they're going from Nashville to
Hmm.
Atlanta, they can go.
Yep. No doubt. Rachel, how about you? Where are you joining us from today?
Kansas.
Kansas.
Oh, great
All
barbecue.
right.
Yeah, not a huge fan of it, but that's okay.
It feels like blasphemy for a Friday.
It also has the College Basketball Hall of Fame, which was pretty cool too, though.
That is
That was a good
true.
time.
Are you a Jayhawk?
Rock Sock Jayhawk.
I don't know what that means.
Oh,
It's
okay.
what
Then no.
they know. No, it's their basketball team. They say
Yeah, the
that Rock
Kansas
Sock Jayhawk.
Kansas Jayhawks. Yeah.
Oh, no, I am from Indiana originally, so I'm a Hoosier.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hoosier.
You guys have had a fantastic year. Capped off
yeah,
last night by the number one overall draft pick.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, nobody deserves it more than that guy. He worked his tail off.
I agree. 100%.
All right, well, let's get
Don't get me
rolling.
started on college sports, man.
I can
I
tell.
actually work in college athletics, so
Oh, do
Oh,
you?
really?
yeah.
Are you at KU?
No, I'm at a community college in
Okay.
Pratt, Kansas. And I'm an athletic director. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's cool.
for the time
That's
being.
awesome.
We'll
For the
see what God calls me to.
I say that every day. I'm like, all right, I'll do this today if
we'll
unless
do this today.
God points me somewhere else.
Touche. Gabe told me if I didn't figure it out, he was going to start dragging me to things. So that's why I'm here.
Just checking stuff out. That's good.
Love it.
Yeah, God
That's
gave her a
good.
vision. She needs to work for herself. So if we come here, we're getting ahead of the game. She learns
Oh,
how to
yeah.
do it right instead of unlearning bad behaviors as a business owner,
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur. We get it right now. Maybe this pushes her into the vision and she starts off on the right foot instead of having to backtrack.
That's true.
Gabe's gonna preach for us. I don't think
I
we need to say
That's what he
know.
anything,
does.
really.
Oh, let's
Jeez.
Every
go.
day.
Keep going, Gabe. We'll just flip slides and you keep going.
Yeah, no, Rachel hears me preach all the time. I think that's why we're here. Let somebody else read.
Figure it out.
Give it
All
a new
right, cool.
sound.
So we're gonna get rolling. So today we're gonna be talking about referral marketing, and it's my favorite form of marketing. Gabriel, I know he's already on board. I know Charlie is on board. I know Rachel will be 100% in by the time this thing is all over because this is the best way. I would say the only way to really run a business. There's a huge difference between having a job and running a business, and we're gonna talk business today. Let other people have jobs. And then once I get through the framework, I want to talk about the way I've set it up over the years. We're going to hand it off to Charlie because he is the clarity guru. He'll tell you how to take that referral, to, hone in your messaging and your story to make sure it's all in alignment. That's what he does. He takes your business and he makes it clear. So that way everybody understands what you do, why you're doing it, and why they need to work with you. And so this collaboration I'm very excited about because I can tell people all day long referral, but then they don't know how to take that next step and make it clear to everybody else that that's what they do. And so Charlie today is going to help me with that, and we're going to have a good old time, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. If some little homekeeping, if you have questions, toss them in the chat. We have preached that it's going to be 45 minutes, and I hold to that. It's going to be 45. I know your busy schedules. So what we'll do is at the very end, we'll take all the questions that you have out of the chat. And if you have to go, I totally understand. We'll give you a copy of it. So that way, if you have a question, it will be answered. We'll give it back to you when you're done. That keeps everything flowing, keeps everything moving, and make sure that all of your questions are answered. And it helps because if you're somebody like me, I'll have a question as I go, and I won't remember it at the end when it comes question time. So if you toss it in there, we will do it at the very end. Not a problem. And we're going to enjoy ourselves. Are we ready? Cool. So let's start talking about it. So I started my career 15 years ago with real estate, and I was told two lies and a truth, which is the opposite of the game. I know that the game is the other way around. And real estate, eventually, I branched off when we started doing a parent company. It was real estate and it was marketing at the same time. But the lies I was told at the very beginning is that I had to buy cold leads. I had to buy cold leads because I didn't know anybody, and that's the only way you do it. You start buying cold leads and then hope and pray that you get enough people that someday down the road, 5 years, 10 years, whatever year, you meet enough people that you can start doing referral marketing and you start being a warm marketer. And it's just simply not true. You can definitely, with the system and framework that we're going to go over today, you can be a referral marketer from day one. It doesn't have to wait 10, 15 years. You don't have to buy cold leads. You don't have to waste your money. You don't have to be told what to do by a third party that's going to give you lists of people to choose from. Because even then, when you have those lists of people, you're only going to call them 5, 7, 10 times a day, and they're maybe going to convert 3% of the time. So it's not really that great at doing it. The second lie was That was a little more of a white lie. It was kind of a tiny lie. The lie was that if you just give, that eventually something's come back to you. And yeah, it's kind of true, sort of true. But if you have intention behind it, if you have strategy behind it, if you have a framework and you've got an idea of where you want to go, that giving becomes way more rewarding. It becomes way more productive. It becomes way more positive. Because if you just give to give, that's wonderful. But at some point, you might burn out. Or someday you might say, listen, this isn't getting me anywhere. I'm giving up. To have a framework, to have some strategy, to have some ideas behind it makes it so that giving and giving with intention gives you the energy you need, and gives you the connections you need, and it makes it way easier for you. So the truth was that referral marketing and giving and intentional giving works. The white lie was that if you just give without just to give, and we have all those, the gurus, the Zig Ziglars, the Bob Bergs, and all those guys that talk about if you give enough, at some point you'll receive. That's great. That's awesome. But let's have some strategy behind it. So that way we can give and receive much sooner in our career and with much more focus and much more guidance. As we go through, I'm going to even ask you a couple of questions. I don't do the once or twice I used to do the fill this out as we go, and it was kind of a debacle. It never really worked that well, so I stopped doing that, and I started just having a reflection question, something to think about as we go. So I want to ask you before we get to the next slide. So why did you attend? What's the one thing you really want to get out of this as we head today? You don't have to tell me. You don't have to do it out loud. You can just write it down or think about it. The one thing you definitely want to get out of this today as we head into this next slide. And somebody gets a cup of coffee. And so before we start getting into the actual like set framework, because I have a specific way we do it, and there's specific things and specific pillars that will help you get where you're going faster. I want to talk quickly about mindset because a lot of us have to have a little bit of a mindset shift. And just various things that you have to be willing to do. There has to be something in your head that you have to be a giver. And there's a lot of people that use the same strategy that I have in our area, and they follow a lot of things I do. They just kind of copy some of the stuff that I do, but they do it to sell something, and they sell right away. And so if you're going to sell something right away, if you're going to be like, hey, listen, I'm going to give you something, I need something back, it's not going to work. It's not. You're going to undo all the work that you did. So you have to be somebody who's willing to give and give without asking for anything in return right away. And I know most people are like, well, then how am I ever going to sell anything? The answer is it does. It comes to you. You meet the people you need to meet. You get the referrals you need to with intention, because we're going to go over that in a second here. You meet the people you need to meet to accelerate your business. So don't worry about selling things right away. And if you're in a position where like, hey, listen, I need to sell things, I've got to pay my bills, my electric isn't free, et cetera, that's fine. We're going to talk about the idea of weaning yourself off of those cold leads. So that way, if you still need to make those sales, you can do that. Not a problem. But we're going to get you out of that. We're going to get into referral marketing. We're going to build a business that can sustain and can last forever and ever. Okay? So just in your head, giving is with intention. I may not get something right away. It's not about me. It's about making others the hero. It's about making connections with others and not asking for anything in return right away. And you have to be in that mindset. You have to be against the norm, because most of us are trained, get out there, talk about my thing, talk about me, sell my stuff, and it's not going to work that way. Okay? So just in your head, the mindset. And as we go through, before we get to the next slide, think to your head, like, who are like 3 ideal referral partners, people that I see in my community that I'd love to be able to meet, people in my industry that I'd love to be able to make connections with. All right? And think about that, because we're going to get to that. We're going to give you opportunities to do that. Now, when I was first given the idea of the giving, I was already doing some of these things, but again, I was taught like, hey, listen, if you just give, you'll receive. Yeah, sort of. Here are some things that you need to have, some pillars, some ideas, some structure to your giving. The very first thing you have to have is you have to have an understanding of your own values. You have to know who you are as a business owner, right? What encapsulates me? What describes me? What's important to me? And there's a lot of different strategies to get to that. You can just sit down and just make a list. Things that are important to me, and just make a list if you want to. Donald Miller teaches us to do an obituary, which is kind of morbid, but it still does work. Where you write like, hey, once I'm all done and everything's gone, how do I want people to remember me? It's a morbid but an effective way as well. And another way I always teach people is stop and think about where you gravitate. What businesses, what brands, what ideas do appeal to you? And if if I'm gravitating towards Nike because they're inspiring athletes, then that's important to me, obviously, because I'm gravitating to that. That also reflects me. So think about what things are important to you, where you gravitate, and how you want to be remembered. And you got to come up with your values because unless you know who you are as a business owner, you'll never be able to find and attract people like you. So it always has to start with you. The second step, once you know who you are and you have a pretty idea of who you're going to be as referral partners, I'm going to get these kind of people, people that are givers or people that are focused or people that are, money mindset, whatever that group is. Once you come up with your values, you need to think about what their pain point is. What things do they need? What things can I help them provide? Because once you start adding value to their pain points, you start becoming resourceful. You start becoming a resource that they can use, that they can have, that they rely on. And that is really important to becoming a referral partner. Is they need something, you have that thing. It could be connections. It could be, oh, I always do videos. So that's where I'm going to go. My example is always going to be videos because I used to go out and I still go out to local business owners and I make video commercials with them. And I do that because every business owner needs more promotion. They need more face time. They need somebody to help them to feel like they're their ally. It's something I had fun doing, and it was super easy and really inexpensive. And it's something I can scale. I can go to any of these businesses and I can go and make a quick commercial with them. I know Charlie's been helping people with podcasts lately too. That's another good one. But think about their pain points and think about what they need and then how you can serve them. And it has to be something you're at least pretty good at or at least interested in doing. And then you have to have fun doing it. That's such a big thing. You'll probably hear me say that a few more times. If you're not having fun providing the solution to their pain point, you're going to stop doing it. So I love going out there and doing these videos. Like I love going in there and do a food truck. I love going there and meeting the people that do the donuts. I love people go the charities, the teachers, the just a variety of business owners. I just love doing it. The cupcake ladies. Good luck finding a cupcake lady that's not the sweetest person in the world. Like they are so awesome. And then when you do the video for them, every time they're like, "Here, you need to try one of my cupcakes." And you're like, "Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, I need to go with those." So meeting these people, giving us something that they need. Think about what your give is. And again, I always preach the video commercial because it's so easy and it's very systematic and it's very scalable. Or podcast, again, same concept, very scalable, very easy to do. But if you have a certain give that you have that you think it can be anybody, the people in your referral partner, then go with it. But I'm going to continue using the videos as my example because that's what I preach. And I think it's just a very easy way to do it. And then the third thing you need is some kind of consistently follow up. You got to be able to track it. And it sounds so easy, but how many times have you thought to yourself, like, I met that person last Thursday, but I can't remember his name and I don't know the email. And they seem like it was a good referral partner, but I don't remember who they were. That's not doing you any good. It can be, doesn't have to be a fancy CRM, doesn't have to be a go high level. It can be a notebook. Like I have my notebook right here with all the things I've got written down that I have to do and the people I met this week. Because usually I'm in meetings or Zoom meetings and I just have that pad sitting next to me and I just write it down real quick. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you have to have something that will remind you who you met and how to follow up with them. Because otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And that's it. Those are the three things you have to have stabilized, ready to go. You need to have the business values of who you are. You have to have what your referral partner's pain point is and how you're going to help them solve it. And you just have to have a follow up, some kind of engagement. All right. So we're starting to create these systems. We're trying to create the consistency you need to position yourself as a referral partner. Most people just go out there and try to just meet people and don't have these kinds of systems in place. And then it just makes them a good person, which is fine. But why not be a good person with focus? That's a big difference. All right. And in my head, I want you to start thinking about before we move to the next slide. What are your three strongest business values? Start thinking about it. Man, I love doing this and I'm really good at this and I want people to know me like this. Start thinking to yourself, what are your three strongest? All right, by now you're like, hey, Billy, this sounds great. This is all good, philosophical ideas. How does this look for me every single day? All right, let's talk about how this is going to look for every single day. I'm going to assume that you're somebody who does need to put the lights on, that you're doing some cold leads, you have to have some sales, and you're just going to stick with it because that's the most practical answer I always get. All right. So for those kinds of people, let's say you're calling for an hour every day, you're calling your cold calls. My challenge to you is to start making 45 minutes of cold calls. Right? Take that extra 15 minutes and start positioning yourself as a referral partner. Start sharing referral partners like businesses. Start sharing some of their content. Take 15 minutes to just share some of the stuff they're doing. That's such low-hanging fruit. Start leaving reviews on their websites and make sure when you leave reviews, it's with your business Google site because that Your logo pops up every single time and they see you over and over and over again and you get recognized. Start leaving comments. Start tagging your friends in some of their content. These are just such low, easy hanging fruit that you can take 15 minutes and start doing that right away. You start positioning yourself as a friend, as an ally, somebody who's on the side of local business owners and you want to help them. And that's the easy start. As you start doing that and as you start becoming more familiar and you're spending 15 minutes a day, maybe a few minutes reaching out to a few. I always tell you, start with people you know. If you know an electrician or a plumber or the bakery owner, or whoever, start with them. Hey, listen, I'm starting to position my business a little bit differently. I want to start being more community oriented. I'd love to do a commercial with you. It's just going to be focusing on you. I'm going to bring my audience to you. I'm going to try to get more people through your door. I want to see you succeed. Just reach out to them. Make them the hero of the story. Make sure I'm your ally. I want to help you. Here's what I'm going to do to help you because I need you need more promotion. You need more butts and seats. You need to sell more cupcakes or you need more people to come to your charity. You need more of this. I can help you. Just let me get in there and just do a quick video with you. Right? And then as you do that, and I'll go over the logistics of a video real quick in the next slide. And as you do that, when you're sitting there doing that video, be like, hey, Bob, this was a lot of fun. I love doing this. Do you know anybody else that could use some help? Because I'm out here trying to help local businesses as much as possible. And Bob, more times out of 10, will be like, oh, yeah, Rita needs some help. She's over there. She's got the bakery. Let me introduce you. All you have to do is make one or two connections. And as people start seeing you as a trust, as somebody's out there trying to help local businesses out there trying to do things, they'll start introducing you to people. I haven't had to reach out to people in like the last 7 years because once they see you as that person who's out there helping the community, they start introducing you. And if a new business pop up, all the business owners know each other. Hey, you're new here. Get a hold of Billy. He'll do a commercial for you. And then I get to know the new business owner. There's an arcade opening up near us. They reached out. They're like, hey, we're opening an arcade in a couple of months. Can you come in and do a quick video with us? Absolutely. It'd be a lot of fun. And now I have the inside information too, because everybody drives by and wants to know what's going on in that building. And now I've got the video with the owners. And so I'm going to get a lot of attention. All those things really work out for you in your favor. But I only want you to do 10, 15 minutes at a time. Sharing, reaching out. I'll go over how to do videos here in a second. And then after a while, after you start getting a little busier, start doing 30 minutes of it, right? After you get 30 minutes of reaching out to people, doing commercials, doing things, podcasts, whatever you decide your give is, you're going to do 45. You're going to do an hour. And I'll tell you, and after like 60, 90 days, you're going to start like not even doing a whole lot of cold calling at all. You're going to have so many people in your pipeline, so many referrals, so many people you're meeting through giving that those are going to become your referral partners. I'm helping you get attention. I'm helping you get people through your door. They're going to start sending people your way as well. It's just a very natural way of doing it. And it sounds like fluff, but I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm telling you, sure ain't fluff. Cool. Logistics. Right? So the logistics are equipment review. All right, good. Sorry, threw me off there a little bit. I got a little sidetracked. Sorry about that. So the logistics, right? We have the 15, 20 minutes for starting to meet people. You have your values set up, right? You start making those connections. You start doing your give and you start following up. Those are the 4 parts to it. Those are logistics. Those are 4 steps. And it can't be, it doesn't have to be difficult. As a matter of fact, when I'm done here today, I want you to say that's way too simple. There's no way that works because it can't be complicated. You run a full-time business. All of you do full-time business. Marketing shouldn't be your business. It should complement the business you're getting. So if I can keep it simple to 4 easy steps, setting your values, making connections, giving, and then follow up, you'll do it. Because otherwise you're looking at it like, well, if I can't do those 4 things, what am I doing here? I'm not taking my business seriously at all. So keep it simple. Keep it very easy. So the equipment review, and then the next one will be distribution, how to get it out there. So I only need 3 things to do what I do. I have my phone, which now works as a video recorder. I used to have to bring in the whole camera and the whole 9, but I don't do that anymore. I need the lapel mic. And actually, I've got that sitting here. $9 on Amazon. That was pretty easy too. And I got my tripod, which actually I don't have that sitting next to me. But that was $12. So for $25, I can meet anybody in my community. I can make connections and referral partners with anybody near me. And if you're like, hey, I want to do podcast, cool. This Yeti mic was $50. I already had a computer, and that's all I needed, $50 to do a podcast. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Because with my phone, with my tripod, with my lapel mic, I can go into the bakery and say, listen, you guys are awesome. I love what you do here. I've been doing community stuff. I want to feature you. I want more people to come in and eat your cupcakes. I'll give you 10 minutes. Just come in. It'll be an easy interview. I'm just gonna ask you the 4 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. And that's it. I'm not Walter Cronkite. I'm not going to break down like anything crazy. I'm not trying to get like any conspiracy theories out of you. I just want the audience to meet you because it's going to separate you from a Walmart cupcake when they come in there and see you behind there making the cupcakes versus Walmart where they don't know where they come from. And making those connections is going to be all the difference to your business. And with those three things, under 25 or $50, you can beat anybody you want to. So far, so good. Doing well. Now, here's the beauty part. Once you have that video or podcast, doesn't matter either way, you have a lot of distribution. And this is where you're going to see even more growth, right? You're going to start, when Charlie will talk to you about your positioning, you're going to position yourself as a community town hall, right? I know all the people. I've been doing these videos and podcasts with people in the community. I know everybody. And you're going to start positioning yourself that way. And Charlie will talk to you about that. I've got this video. Of course, I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to put it in my email. Watch your email open rates. Once you start giving people content from their own neighborhoods, watch, see what happens. When you start giving them like, hey, here's the new food truck, or here's the bakery, here's the charity event that's coming up. Watch your open rates. People actually care. If you sit there and sell your what a product every single week, your open rate's gonna be like 3%, 2%, 5%. Mine's near 40. I'm darn near 40% because I don't ever talk about what I'm selling. I'm like, here's what's going on around you. Here's what's going on in the neighborhood. You got this charity event going on over here. You've got this over here. Hey, meet the new bakery owner. Those get opens because people want to meet what's going on. They want to meet. They want to know what's going on. So you can put in your email, watch your open rates. You can put it on YouTube, put it on your social media, and you can chop it up. 30-second snippets. You can make 5 or 6 of these. And they can go in stories. They can go in reels. They can go in text messages. And they can go in DMs. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with these. So if, let's say you needed to follow up with a friend you haven't seen in a couple of years. If you're saying, hey, how's the family? That's just the same old crappy follow-up everybody does. But instead, you're like, hey, listen, I just did a video with the Mexican food truck that just came out. I think you love tacos. I think you're going to like this video. Hey, thanks, man. That was awesome. That kind of connection makes you more memorable than, hey, how's the family? I'm just seeing how things are going. Or I'm just checking in with you, see how is it. That's boring. Give them something they might actually need. And you can do the same thing with the business owners. So the business owner's like, hey, listen, I just saw you guys had a thing this weekend. I just did a video with them over here. Let me show you what looks like. Like, oh, that was really cool. Let us set up a time to do this next week. So this content will help you grow. And all you did was like a 10-minute, maybe a half an hour of sitting down with them, creating this video, edit if you want to, don't have to if you don't want to. And the distribution helps you grow exponentially because you have content that people want to see. And now you're the town hall. People want to know you. They want to know, hey, I get people all the time that I didn't even sell houses to. Like, hey, listen, I'm looking for a siding guy. You just happen to know everybody. I'm like, I didn't sell you that house, but maybe next time. So stuff like that happens way more than you think. The mayor of ours, he actually calls at least once a month, usually while he's golfing. Hey, man, I was just checking in, see if there's like, yeah, no, everything's great. So the mayor calls me. The lady that does economic development, she'll call me quarterly. Hey, we have these 3 or 4 more businesses coming out. I introduce them to you. The stuff that you find yourself into. In like 2 weeks, I've got the food truck festival. The school system reached out to me to help them run a food truck festival because they just see me out in the community doing. They're like, you seem like to know everybody. Like, can you help us with this and do that? Sure. So the opportunities that you get through it are just amazing, but just with intentional distribution. You can use it to follow up with anybody. You can use it to make yourself position yourself as the boss. I know everybody. All right. So think to yourself, who are some of the people you want to start reaching out to? Who are some of the folks that you need to get to meet with some of this content ideas? And then I think we're almost, yeah, to Charlie's. Yeah. So now that you position yourself as the town hall mayor, you've got a system, you've got some ideas, you've got some basic pillars. Don't make it complicated. You want to start positioning yourself as the mayor, and Charlie can help you do that. And again, if you've got questions and stuff, toss in the chat. Once Charlie's wrapped up, we will do the questions.
Love it. Okay, so thank you, Billy. Man, that was awesome. I was sitting here taking notes myself. I'm gonna have to start getting some camera action going on with some of my businesses. Um, Okay, so very, very quickly, I work with business owners and leaders, and for the most part, I help them clarify their branding, their positioning, and sometimes even their strategic decisions, business operations. It all kind of bleeds together. But the reason I start with branding and marketing is because that is typically the front door of your business. That's usually the first touch point a customer has with you, your brand, and all of that. And when I talk about brand, I know there's a million definitions of it. Branding is just simply how customers interact with you and how you are presenting yourself to them. So it's everything from your logo to your website to your emails to your social media to everything in between. It's all encompassing. I call it your ecosystem. There's a lot of different ways that you could slice and dice it. But what I find with business owners 9 times out of 10 is that clarity is just misunderstood, or you just have a wrong idea about it, or there are a bunch of myths that I could go through that I believe that most business owners just fall into over time, either because it was ingrained in them or whatever. And so this is where I like to start. When I interact with a business owner for the first time, whether we're working together or whether we're just on discovery stuff, I'll just say, do you know how to identify the gaps in your brand? This is the most important question I think to start off with because it tells me what they're focused on right now. The reason I ask that question is because 9 times out of 10, a business owner wants to do more of what they want to do. They want to go cook more. They want to go sell more. They want to go make more. They want to go do whatever it is. They don't want to solve marketing problems. They don't want to solve branding problems. That all sounds arduous and it winds up piling up over time in what I call random acts of marketing. This happens for one of two reasons. Either an agency prescribed a whole bunch of stuff for them to do with no way to track it or just left it for them to figure out, or like a lot of us who are bootstrapping and duct taping our business together, over time we wind up just doing a lot of stuff and we don't really have a strategy behind it. So that's usually the second question that either I ask it explicitly or it just kind of reveals itself. Are you actually committing random acts of marketing? And then the third one is, do you treat clarity as a one-time event? Most business owners will start out by saying, this is what I want to do, and that is where every decision is going to be filtered through. Not a bad thing. Always good to have some kind of North Star. But at the same time, the argument that I make is clarity in your business should be a practice. It should be a discipline. It should be something that you do in some way, shape, form, or fashion every single day. Yes, you have to do annual planning. And yes, you have to come up with a checklist of things that need to get done. But at the end of the day, clarity should never be I have all the answers, or I made this decision one time and therefore all other decisions will follow from it. It really does become an ongoing thing. Billy, if you go to the next one for me. So that's where I always start. And then the next part is it goes like this. Gaps exist because things are just inconsistent. Again, when you pile up a lot of things, it winds up being like, oh, we're trying to do this on social, but this is what we say on our website, and this is the customer interaction when you walk through our front door, and none of it jives together. That's where the gaps start to exist because a customer now is experiencing something different at every single touch point of your brand and your business. That's a big red flag. And for me, especially when I'm working with a business owner, I'll just go, do you have a strategy at all? And if the answer is no, that's the biggest gap I think that can exist. A great way to identify if your brand is inconsistent is to ask 3 people on your team or 3 of your customers questions like this. How would you describe my business to a friend? It reveals 2 things. One is what is in your head actually translating out to your customers. And two, it's direct customer feedback about your business. Use their words in your marketing, use their words in your branding and positioning, because now you have a real life example of how this is translating out to your customers and your business. Internally, it's a great question to ask and say, what are we focused on right now? Your team will identify those gaps for you if you have competing priorities, if you have inconsistencies, if you have something that is driving, if you have something that is creating confusion and complexity unnecessarily in your business. And you can ask this a million different ways of your customer. Like, what did you like the most about that product? Or, hey, I noticed that you came back and bought a second one. Did you buy for yourself or somebody else? Like, it's an instant feedback loop that you want to tap into as well. Billy, let's go to the next one. I'm going to try to go a little quicker in this. So, the best way to bring black clarity to your business is just to get curious. I have a 7-step framework that I work business owners through, especially on the initial part, and eventually they just get to where they can do this automatically. If you're a creative, you probably go through these steps without even thinking about them, because that's just how you're wired. But the reason I say that we need to get curious is, again, because business owners get stuck. Business owners want to either have all of the answers and micromanage everything, and everything has to go through them, and then they become the bottleneck, right? Not news to anybody here, I'm sure. At the same time, when you can get them to take a step back and ask questions again, that's my biggest thing. Is like, if you are answering quicker than you're asking questions, then you're not curious about your business. You're not curious about what's going on. That partially means you have to go past the numbers. Numbers are good, numbers are something, but they are not everything. And if you're only making decisions based off of numbers, go be an accountant. Go do something that's in engineering or something like that. Don't go into business for yourself, and certainly don't go into branding and marketing, because there are so many layers to this. Numbers can tell a story. They can be part of the story you tell, but if they are the gospel truth, now we've got a different problem. One of the steps that I preach in branding and positioning also is being concise. Business owners have a proclivity to say a lot of things. I have to say more. I have to give more information. I have to do more at the end of the day. Actually, if you were to cut and simplify and prioritize, it will help your business garner more business and more momentum. I cut my teeth as a copywriter in the marketing world, and I had a wonderful leader when I first started out that said, "Cut it in half and then cut it again and see what stays." Now, at that point, that sounds like, oh my gosh, like we're removing so much. What it causes you to do is you have to pick every single word that really matters. And so I coach businesses on this all the time, where they'll get really stuck on a phrase. This is the phrase. This is the thing. And I'll look at it and I go, but you're trying to use it as an H1 on your website or headline on your website, and it just doesn't go there. It's not that it doesn't go somewhere. It just needs to go somewhere else at a different touch point in your business. That will make the difference. One of my favorite stories to tell is from a local business owner who, in one of our first meetings, knew what they had to do. They knew some of the tactics. They knew they had to get in front of audiences differently. They knew they had to engage customers differently if they wanted to grow their business. And in the very first conversation that I had with this business owner, they said, "Here's what we want to do. We want to duplicate the in-store experience online." And my jaw hit the floor. I was like, "You didn't tag a number to that? You didn't put any other kind of KPI or goal or anything like that?" I was like, "Can you please tell every business owner like that should be the goal?" Because that's what it's about. He wanted consistency in the in-store experience to be duplicated online. And wouldn't you know that in an industry that was declining by almost 3% year over year, their business grew by 10. It was pretty incredible. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of consistency. We had to retrain the audience to receive information in different ways. But my goodness, you would not believe the smile on the face at the end of the year, just going, "I can't believe we did that together." I'm like, I absolutely can believe we did that together, because you were consistent everywhere at every touch point of your brand, and that's why it matters. Billy, let's go to the next one. I'm gonna try to go a little faster on these two. So. I talk about fighting for clarity. I used to say drive for clarity, and that always sounds kind of ethereal, like, oh yeah, anybody can do that. I think fighting for clarity in your business looks like this. Number one, don't stop doing what works. Too many businesses, agencies, consultants, etc. will tell you, oh yeah, we're going to do all of this new stuff. Here's the new playbook. We're going to stop doing everything and we're going to pull over and build this. Absolutely not. Please don't do that. You've got to keep doing what works. Yes, you may have to build some new stuff, and you may have to reprioritize and shuffle and doing some other things, but please don't stop doing what works. And part B to that is, please stop doing what isn't working. If you have been spinning your tires and everything is flatlining, you're not seeing additional engagement or additional sales or something like that, or if it is truly declining, please stop doing it. Don't just be like, well, we just have to do social. Okay, great. You can still do that, but please don't give more effort to something that you know isn't working. The third part of that is building what is next. This is where tools can come in handy. Maybe it's a different perspective. Maybe it's just the assistance of AI saying like, here are all of my priorities in business. Can you help me reprioritize things? This is what I do with business owners when we sit knee to knee together. We say, what could this look like in the next 90 days and then the next 365 days? Billy, let's go to the next one. So, short term 90-day burst. What can we do to protect what we have and build what's next? I think you can do anything for a season. I think 90 days is the perfect time frame to say this is what we can do. 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a week, whatever you've got. This is the time to say we're not going to stop what we're doing. We are going to pull over and start to plan and potentially build what is next for our business. And then long term, this is the guiding question. If this is where we want to be a year from now, what has to be true in order for us to get there? Then you reverse engineer what that looks like. If you're a restaurant, for example, and you want to be doing online orders and that be 20% of your business by this time next year, let's reverse engineer and say, what do we have to build at every step of the way and make sure that we get to that point? What are some of the costs that come into that? What are some of the infrastructure we have to have in place? Do we need additional people? Do we need additional whatever? That's where it becomes a really fun process too. But the reason I think that is important is because if you're working with businesses or you're in your own business, 90 days is a great short-term plan. And you could set that for whatever you want to. If you want it to be 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. I like 90 because I like to give a longer runway. Same with the 1 year thing. But the reason I think that's important is because now you have a filter through which you can make all decisions. Now you have a filter through which it doesn't necessarily have to be about, I have all the answers. Now it is, I know the direction we are going. And everything that we do now either supports that or is outside of those guardrails and we don't do it. Billy, let's go to the next one. So I want to make this very clear too. I know that clarity often comes with this notion of simplicity. And yes, I believe that is true, that simplicity and prioritization are important. But if your business is complex, simplicity could be a false idol for you. It could be something that really takes you off the rails. So if your business is complex, clarity is going to help you navigate it more smoothly. And I think that's a distinction that a lot of business owners forget is that it's not about reducing complexity, it's about navigating it. You do need to reduce and eliminate confusion, but complexity may exist in your business forever, and clarity is just going to help you do more of it in a better and more efficient way. If your business is simple, clarity is going to help you compound your momentum faster. That's why I believe clarity is an important discipline in your business and in your brand and your marketing, as opposed to a one-time event. All right, I think we're on the last one, Billy. Oh, no, that is the last one. Just kidding. So, one of the reasons that I preach about clarity so much is because it's number one, I think it's misunderstood. And number two, it's both easier and harder to get to as a business owner or as a leader or fill in the blank for whatever your title is. I think you can do the bulk of the work in about 2 weeks. That's really where some concerted effort or an extra set of hands can come into place. But I think reframing clarity as a direction and a discipline and a practice frees us up to think, oh no, I don't have to have all the answers. We can just have a North Star in a direction and go in that direction. And then we can make decisions along the way. It requires some flexibility. It requires a little bit of adaptability, but that's why we do this in the first place, because we want that kind of adventure anyways. So, what that looks like more practically in your brand, I don't believe, I just want to say this out loud, I don't believe that that requires a full rebrand. You don't necessarily need a new logo, a new website, a new this or a new that. I think that's the bill of goods that we often get sold in thinking, if I'm going to do something new, everything has to be new. Not necessarily. Updating and refreshing, always start there. And that should be seasonal and that should be cyclical. I think the other thing that doesn't mean in your branding and marketing is that you have to have everything perfect. Try out a bunch of stuff. I am a firm believer in testing, low risk, low level tests as much as you possibly can. That's how you start to find where that natural momentum is so that you can replace things that aren't working with the things that actually do. So, little bit of a practical thing. I forgot to put all of my stuff in there. You can always find me. You can always find me on LinkedIn or at clarityovereverything.com. That's where all of my contact info and things exist. So I'm gonna stop now, Billy.
Very good. That was awesome. Thank you,
There you go.
Charlie. That was awesome. I love the idea of different seasons because I wouldn't want any of you that are deciding to move into the referral marketing programs, like that kind of vision for your business, to just do it all at once. That's not going to wait. Like 10, 15 minutes a day. Just slowly start pivoting yourself as the town hall, like we talked about a little bit. I love that. And I think he and I did not really, I didn't especially talk about it much, but the AI, the push on AI now, I think is the perfect positioning for yourself to be more referral, to be more face to face, because I'm sure even in this meeting you got hit by 4 or 5 bots sending you messages like nobody knows what's real anymore, who's what. These face to face meetings, this ability to get out and somebody and start helping them feel like they have allies, is going to be pivotal. I think we're seeing this renaissance. Everybody was chasing that shiny object of AI, and it's got its time and it's got its place. But sitting down and having meetings with people and making connections is really where we need to be. Anyway, do we have any questions? Let's do the questions if you have to. I know some people probably have to hop off because now is their 45 minutes. But yeah, if you've got questions, let's hit it up. I think there was one in the chat. Yeah, thanks for joining us. That was the one. Yeah,
Yep, it was just me,
it
just
was
letting
just
everybody
Charlie,
know.
just
Yeah,
hanging out. Yeah. And so, Charlie, I'll throw your information. I got everybody registered. I'll throw them all the information and for you if they
awesome.
want to hook up with you. If not, they know where you are and they can follow your content, which is always good content. And yeah, if you don't have any questions, go out there and start meeting some people, man. Find what they need, how you're going to fulfill it, and then become a pivotal partner in their life. People feel better when they know somebody's trying to help them, that they have allies. Right, Pastor Gabe?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this has been really, really good. I know Mitch, past Ashley, the other guy that hopped off, Pastor Mitch, right? He's one of my
Oh, he's a
teammates.
pastor too?
Works with yeah, he's a pastor as well. So,
Nice.
yeah. And then Rachel, yeah, she definitely did not. She undersold who she is, but she is finishing up her PhD. She's a retired ball player, basketball player herself. She's actually
Nice.
an incredible ball player, athletic
Nice.
director for a university. So she's in the middle of starting to write her book and starting
Oh,
her own
cool.
business and doing a bunch of things. And I said, hey, why do you keep holding back? Like God's clearly got
Hmm.
things for you. Like why do you keep doing mainstream? And she's like, well, and I'm like, what's the vision? Like what is it that you can do? I was like, how hard is it? I really think you could. And so I just pushed her like both hands, right? Just like I did when we played one on one. Although I did kind of push her into a cactus then, but you know what I'm saying? We were in Palm Springs. Like it's like, like we're gonna play ball. Like I'm gonna
Oh,
play,
man.
right? So but yeah, we both played college